I am Yasir Arafat, co-founder, CTO of Aalo Atomics. Welcome to the very first episode of Critical Thinking. When we started this vlog, we started this for one simple reason. If we're going to do something this hard, something this ambitious, people deserve to see what it actually takes. After all, what's the point of doing something this crazy if we don't invite anyone to come along?
Earlier this year, the president signed an executive order calling for 3 nuclear reactors to go critical by July 4th, 2026. With a single signature, an impossible clock started ticking. Most of the industry looked at it and decided it couldn't be done. We decided to try. This is our story: the hard decisions, the long hours, the relentless push, and the small wins that keep us moving forward. This isn't a highlight reel. It's our unfiltered diary. Instead of polished press releases, we're going to show you the messy middle, the decisions we agonize over, the days when nothing seems to work, and the breakthroughs that make it all worth it. The second atomic age starts here, and you've got a front row seat. Welcome to Critical Thinking.
When we founded Aalo Atomics in 2023, we had a very specific end goal in mind: to make nuclear energy more economical and more predictable. Right? Nuclear power is incredibly energy dense. It's reliable, it runs day and night, it's plenty safe, contrary to popular belief. I'm talking about all the plants that are currently already built and operating today. These are plants that were built in what we call the first atomic age, between the 50s and the 80s. The last time US tried to build 2 gigawatt scale plants, it took us 18 years, and with significant cost overruns. Now, granted, they're first of a kind plants, and we haven't built a new reactor for like 30 years. But in the US alone, data center demand is forecasted to skyrocket. Like, they're going to double the amount of power they need over the next 5 years. Just to give you an idea, that's 80 gigawatts. 80 gigawatts, meaning equivalent to 80 cities worth of electricity. Now, current nuclear cannot scale that fast. If we magically as a country got better at building them, let's say 3 times faster, right? We would only be able to meet less than 3% of this demand, just from data centers alone, over the next 5 years. Current nuclear cannot scale fast enough. We almost need a completely different model to scale nuclear in this modern world. Now at Aalo, we're doing something fundamentally different from today's nuclear. We design reactors to be built and deployed like products, right? Not projects. These are manufactured in factories and installed on the side, almost like a plug-and-play approach, right? Not undergo a massive construction effort, not a one-off project that we normally see today in the field. Now, that's easier said than done, especially for a multi-megawatt scale reactor. But in summary, the key to unlocking a true nuclear fleet is factory mass production. Unless we build the same system over and over again within a short amount of time frame, we can't truly unlock economies of multiples. That's when learning truly compounds, right? This is different than economies of scale. So when we leverage economies of multiple, that's when quality truly improves. And that's when the cost of each unit drops faster than anything that past nuclear has ever seen. With factory manufacturing, our long-term goal is to drive the cost of energy dramatically lower, potentially as low as 3 cents a kilowatt hour. Now, some people scoff at this 3 cent a kilowatt hour target. And that skepticism is fair, right? But walk with me for a moment. Our plants are designed to operate for 60 years. But if our financial model is built to pay them off in 15 years, right, not 60 years, once the plant is paid off, the economics change drastically. At that point, achieving 3 cents a kilowatt hour becomes a matter of operational excellence, how well we operate these systems. Like, for example, reducing the number of people required to operate the plant, right? If we're relying on autonomous operation, improving how well we burn the fuel, like burn up, for example, and maintaining exceptionally high uptime. Now, this is going to be a little hard to do on day one, but over time we'll get better at this, right? And achieve very high capacity factors. Now, we know all of these, we can't get there overnight, but this is the direction we're building our future. When we started Aalo, we weren't starting from zero. We raised $6.5 million seed funding in 2023 and began assembling our first team members. Now, these folks, they've already designed some of the most cutting-edge reactor design of our times, right? We decided to recruit some of the best designers from the Marvel project, which I previously led at the Idaho National Laboratory. Now, this project is the first and the fastest project to receive DOE approval to construct a new advanced reactor in the United States since DOE was formed in 1977. Now, at Aalo, we have always said we have two products, the reactor and the factory that builds it. Because mass production is such an important part of our thesis, we decided to design and build out a pilot factory simultaneously as we're designing the reactor. So what we did within a year, we raised another round of funding, $30 million Series A, and we moved out from our closet-sized office in the WeWork in a quest to figure out what most nuclear startups don't do. Build out a factory. Build out a factory before even you finish the design, right? So we rented out a 45,000 square foot facility in Austin, which is where I'm currently sitting right now. That was our first step. But we knew we couldn't build a reactor without the right team. Some of our team members that we hired are very good at nuclear design, but they don't really know how to mass manufacture. So we started recruiting people who had built some of the most hardest things on the planet. We went out and hired manufacturing engineers from Tesla who have mastered mass production in a very short amount of time, right? And then we went out to hire experts from SpaceX who have built, the first rockets at that company. Turns out there's a lot of similarity between building rockets and building nuclear reactors like ours, right? And we took all those folks and we paired them with metal fabricators from the oil and gas industry who builds very large components for a living, right? Now, these are all very different industries, but they all have the same obsession. Build right, build many, and build fast. Now, after 9 months of extensive prototyping, design work, and numerous design iterations, we've done a lot of what is called DFMA reviews, design for manufacturability and assembly, right? Just to figure out how do we build our first factory from ground up. And we've explored the reactor design, and we figured out, based on the factory space that we have, all the various equipment that we would need to set up this factory. And after months and months of effort, we successfully launched our first factory on April 7th of 2025. This was our pilot factory. In nuclear, there's an old saying that nobody wants the first reactor, but everybody wants a second. So we said, well, let's go ahead and build the first reactor with our own venture dollars. So about 1.5 years ago, we partnered with Idaho National Lab to build out our first reactor under DOE authorization, right? Not NRC, but DOE auth. This was way before the executive orders came out. This was well before DOE authorization was in fashion. Almost everybody in the industry, went to the NRC to start building their first projects. And there's nothing wrong with that. But we think, DOE might be better for building the first one. And some of the team members started questioning our way. Like, why are you guys doing DOE auth when everybody in the industry is trying to pursue NRC license? But I was very adamant that we go build our first reactor with DOE because of our recent experience with the Marvel project, right? They're an excellent regulator. They're very flexible in building out a first of a kind technology and making sure that we can make it work not be able to go through the entire licensing process, which is typically designed for a commercial reactor. Turns out going to DOE was a darn good call. This May, the US president issued an executive order calling for 3 pilot reactors to be built and reach criticality by July 4th of next year, 2026. 14 months, no extensions. We had to take, something from a paper design to a working, fully functional reactor. Now, this kind of deadline changes everything that the nuclear industry have known, right? Most of the industry looked at it and said, well, this is crazy. We're not doing this. It couldn't be done. But at Aalo, we decided to try anyway. We accepted the challenge and submitted a proposal to the DOE. And this August, we found out Aalo was one of the 10 companies selected by the Department of Energy to make this happen. Now, 10 is a lot. I mean, that's basically everybody who applied and said we could do this. Now, their hope is at least 3 of all of these 10 companies will make it to criticality. Now, by the time they made this announcement, the clock already started ticking. We realized we had less than 1 year to really pull this off. But the team at Aalo felt very energized. We said, you know what? If anybody can pull this off, it's us. It's our team. We felt this was our calling. We felt like this was our modern day Apollo mission. Now, we really don't have time for any distractions. We're fully hyper-focused on trying to make sure we make this mission. Yet a lot of the industry have reached out to us and said, well, how are you guys doing this? How are you pulling this off, right? Now, even with a very hard deadline and an impossible mission that we have to accomplish, we made a deliberate choice. The choice to document this entire journey. And we want to do this openly and honestly. Like, transparency is one of our core values at Aalo. And in that spirit, we're going to share with you all of the real engineering challenges we're facing, our kind of daily struggles, the setbacks that kind of keep us awake at night, and those small wins that kind of keep us going forward, and all the personal strain that comes with all that work, and all the breakthroughs that make it all worth it. Right? We want to show you what's behind the scenes, how advanced reactor history is actually made, week by week. We'll take you inside our decision-making process, why we designed the things that we did, what worked, what didn't. You'll see up close what we're building. Meet our team members who's making it all real, and kind of understand how they think, right? This is a front row seat to show you how we take a brand new reactor design from paper to reality. From the factory floor here in Austin, Texas, all the way to achieving criticality in the deserts of Idaho. Transparency matters. And if nuclear is going to earn public trust again, people need to see the process, not just the end result, right? Because in nuclear, I think the journey is as important as the destination itself. With that, thank you for watching our first episode. Stay tuned for the next one.